Hello and welcome to episode 302 of the official EstablishTheRun.com podcast. My name is Adam Levitan, as always joined by Evan Silva. We are entering the home stretch here. Week 14 is upon us. Evan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Adam.
On today's show, each Tuesday throughout the entire season, we go team by team, highlighting the most important things we saw from a fantasy perspective and key takeaways. Before we get into it, have to let you know that this show is indeed brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks.com. You guys know me. I love player props. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't bet the stuff we're betting on the prop side because they live in New York or California or Texas or a whole slew of other states that don't have regulated sports betting. PrizePicks is legal and regulated in those states. You can bet their props in parlay form if you want to give them a try. This week, they have a 100% instant deposit bonus up to $100. Use promo code ETR to get the best deal or the link in the show notes. Again, promo code ETR at prizepicks.com for the instant deposit bonus and the best deal. Also recommend getting in the Discord, the PrizePicks channel. In there, it's good discussion around stuff to take. All right, let's get into it here with the NFC. Arizona Cardinals got Kyler back. Arizona Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins back. It wasn't really, I think, a game where we could evaluate them too well. Kyler only threw the ball freaking 15 times, but DeAndre Hopkins did catch a touchdown. The problem was DeAndre Hopkins, 2 targets on 15 attempts, still 13.3% target share in this game, 5.6 targets per game on the year. For DeAndre Hopkins, volume remains a concern for him, but at least he's back. He's healthy. They got eased in an easy spot. What did you see out of the Cardinals' Kyler nuke return, Evan?
Yeah, and they and entering this week 14, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have an extra day because they're playing on Monday Night Football against the Rams. So he should be rounding back into near back toward 100%. Kyler Murray is, if you're in the MVP betting market still and you're looking at that, I think that Kyler Murray, there's 5 games left. There's a decent chunk of season left. I know he's missed some time. That's going to work against him. Tom Brady's the clear favorite. I think if you're going to make a bet 10-1 Kyler Murray, I think he's still got a shot at it. And he's got this big primetime game against the Rams to show off. So, I mean, this is a big game for the Cardinals. I think it's a big game for his MVP chances. I think we're going to see Chase Edmonds probably miss one more game coming off the high ankle sprain. James Conner over his last 4 touch counts, 22, 26, 13, 26, a true bow cow. He did get vultured by Kyler a couple of times in scoring position, but he played really well. He led the team in receiving.
I think, I don't know, maybe Kyler's missed too much time to win it because I've actually been, I have a bunch of MVP bets thanks to Ryan, and I have a bunch of Tom Brady 8-1 thanks to Ryan Reynolds, who does the awards column for us. The one that he was talking about today, long shot, we can get to in a minute here, is Matthew Stafford at 16-1. And you mentioned that game. Let's say Matthew Stafford goes out there and wins and beats Kyler this week. Obviously, Stafford's going to come down probably into that 8-1 range or so. Let's go to Let's go to Atlanta. Cordell Patterson is like, they're running the entire offense through him. I get it. It's just only 11% target share over the last 2 weeks, and that's not fluky because he's only ran 32 routes on 81 Matt Ryan dropbacks. Like, they're almost using him like a true bell cow now, not as a wide receiver hybrid. He's like their prime running back. Benefiting in the pass game is Russell Gage. I mean, Russell Gage, I didn't think he had a big enough ceiling, or I thought it was close if he had a big enough ceiling to be viable in tournaments this past week. I didn't use him at all in my bringbacks on the Brady stuff. I used Kyle Pitts. The person who won the ETR subscriber league had Russell Gage as the bring back in the Tom Brady stuff, made a big difference. Do we need to reevaluate how we think about Russell Gage? Would you be adding him, Evan, and anything else on the Falcons?
You know, he's in that sort of like Hunter Renfrow sort of range. I like Renfrow a little bit better, but, that's sort of the range that he's in terms of he is locked into a pretty good role in terms of volume. He's got 7+ targets in 4 of his last 5. He had 12 this past week. He's competing for targets in the wide receiver core with Tajay Sharp and Olamide Zaccheaus. So his role is not going to lessen, but he's not going to add a whole lot to the volume that he does get. Kyle Pitts this past week played 94% of Atlanta's offensive snaps. That's a career high for him. He's just not they're not throwing the ball to him in scoring position. You remember they used to do this with Julio, and it's partly partly maybe Matt Ryan's risk aversion in scoring position, partly probably the way the defenses are treating Kyle Pitts, but he's not getting targets in scoring position, and that's hurting him.
Carolina. So they were on a bye, and news breaks, I guess it was Sunday, that they fired Joe Brady. And that one kind of caught me off guard. Like, I didn't think this was on Joe Brady. When your quarterbacks have struggled as badly as Panthers quarterbacks have struggled, is it really on Joe Brady, the 30-year-old former LSU pass game coordinator? He will be replaced for the rest of this season by running backs coach Jeff Nixon. Of course, Jeff Nixon's going to look like a genius now because they're home against the freaking Falcons this week, right? But I don't know. What do you think of Brady getting fired? Do you know anything about Jeff Nixon? Because I don't.
I just know that Jeff Nixon is Matt Rule's boy from Baylor. So, they go way back. I could sort of sense that there were potential issues. I didn't see this coming, obviously. I don't think anybody really did. But I could sense that there were issues in terms of run pass balance. Matt Rule wants he wants to play run first football. And Joe Brady is more of like a progressive thinker, and he wants to be aggressive in the passing game. And they just, you could sort of tell that they were butting heads, I think, starting maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago when things really started to go south for their offense. That they want to run the football. And, now they're going to try to do that with Chuba Hubbard and Ameer Abdullah. And, they're probably not going to be very successful. I did think it was interesting that the Panthers did. I always wondered why is Friday night the news dump when you could just do it right when all the games start on Sunday? What a great time to dump that news.
Yeah, I'll say this, maybe Joe Brady's style doesn't work for this Panthers team because their quarterbacks have been Darnold and PJ and Cam Newton. If they get, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers or, who knows, some good quarterback, then you want Joe Brady in there, So I don't know. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me.
They were 10th in yards per drive last year with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. I mean, Joe Brady can run an offense. He's going to get a job very, very quickly. Wouldn't be surprising if he went back to LSU or, gets an NFL job. I mean, he's going to land on his feet, no question.
By the way, we did mention before the bye that no Christian McCaffrey, obviously going forward. Chuba Hubbard is probably taken in your league, but if Ameer Abdullah is still out there, I do think Ameer Abdullah is going to play a lot of pass downs for this offense. And again, they play the Falcons this week. We'll be talking about Cam again on Friday night. I'm sure there'll be some good debate there.
And throwing to the running back is a big part of their offense, or at least it has been to this point. I don't think that, at this point in the season, they're really going to change anything schematically.
Let's go to the Bears. Andy Dalton was under center once again. I mean, the thing that struck me is what we talked about after the Thanksgiving game. The way that it rolled out for David Montgomery on Thanksgiving was kind of fluky because when you're getting 21 carries and 9 targets like David Montgomery got in this game against the Cardinals, like you're going to succeed. I prefer all these guys, Mooney, Kmet, Montgomery, when Dalton is in there. I don't know yet who's going to start between Fields and Dalton. I don't know if you have any read on that or anything else on the Bears.
No read so far on who's going to start for the Bears on Sunday Night Football against the Packers. But yeah, I mean, this would be, I guess, the time to switch back to Justin Fields, assuming that he's healthy, with Andy Dalton just coming off he was terrible. He was just absolutely terrible. By the way, the Cardinals are number 1 in pass defense DVOA, which is just crazy considering what they have at cornerback.
Yeah. They've been playing great defense all year.
Yep.
I know. I'm interrupting the video. Wah. But if you're enjoying this video and want to see more fantasy football and DFS content like it, please just take 2 seconds, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Really does go a long way for us, and we'd appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and now back to the show. Dallas Cowboys. So Amari was active for that game on Thursday, but he was limited. Only 24 routes on 47 dropbacks. We saw CeeDee Lamb. We saw Michael Gallup be the every down receiver. The thing that sticks out, I mean, my God, Zeke is out there kind of like limping around and looking awful, and Tony Pollard is just shot out of a cannon. But still, even in the Thursday game, even with Pollard running circles around him, Zeke 45-28 in snaps, Zeke 15-9 in touches. Actually, big game for them coming up at Washington, because Washington can still win the division easily if they win this game. So huge NFC East game. What'd you see out of Dallas last Thursday?
Yeah, Amari Cooper came back dealing with the, I guess, post COVID illness symptoms.
Yeah.
He only saw 2 targets. He was limited on Thursday Night Football against the Saints, but the Cowboys offense should be about as healthy with the caveat of Ezekiel Elliott. Tyron Smith has played back-to-back games of 100% of the snaps. You'd think Amari Cooper is ready to roll, coming off the quote unquote mini bye. Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, all 100%. And yeah, what is a very big game in the NFC East? The Cowboys have lost some games that they should have won. They are a much better team than the football team, but the football team has won 5 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. They're coming to save the over 8 bets, the over 8 and the over 8.5. The football team is coming for it. Detroit. So they get their first win. First win comes without DeAndre Swift. I don't know if you saw the the video that went with Jared Goff's girlfriend. Like, she's like some ridiculous like swimsuit model, and somebody shows her video of Jared Goff winning. I mean, shout out to Jared Goff. People give him a lot of shit. I mean, shout out to him. Anyways, you can see what happens when
two big shout outs to Jared Goff.
You can see what happens when DeAndre Swift is out, right? So like suggesting, and this is where I was so glad you guys on Friday night, talked me out of playing any Jamal Williams. I ended up playing no Jamal Williams because like he's not DeAndre Swift, right? And what you saw was instead of a big running back target share like they've had all year, the wide receiver target shares actually went through the roof. And we had an over on, which I definitely didn't feel good about, but we had an over on Amon-Ra St. Brown yards, and he absolutely smashed that. Reynolds went over his yardage prop. Khalif Raymond went over his yardage prop. They all did, just like fewer targets going to running backs. And then this Jamal Williams thing, I thought he'd be used more in the pass game. Only 9 routes on 46 Jared Goff drop backs for Jamal Williams. Jamar Jefferson got in there. Godwin got in there as well. So yeah, it was good that you guys got me off Jamal Williams because that was definitely the right move. And you see anything else in Detroit, who again finally got their first win?
No, you literally covered everything. I mean, Godwin Igwebuike was the passing down back.
Yeah.
And Jamar Jefferson was like the change of pace back. He had 5 carries and a target. Jamal Williams did have 18 touches, but Jamal Williams kind of like needs 30 touches.
And they're not high value. They're not high value touches because he wasn't playing in the pass game, and they're not in the red zone very much. So
right, and they don't score, and he wasn't catching passes. Yeah.
Packers will come out of their bye to face the Bears on Sunday Night Football. Not sure yet on Aaron Jones. Kind of think he'll be. Well, I assume he'll be in, considering what happened in the game before the bye. And then also not sure on Randall Cobb. We'll be watching that. I think the story for Green Bay has been how much trust Aaron Rodgers has shown in Marquez Valdez-Scantling lately. Like, it seems to have been like a tipping point for MVS where he's kind of turned the corner. I don't know anything on that or anything else in the Packers as they come out of their bye.
Now, Aaron Jones should be close to 100%, you would think, but yeah. I think that it's going to be interesting. Can AJ Dillon outscore him? I mean, I think that that's on the table. They'll be playing the Bears on Sunday night. That's going to be probably very positive game script for the Packers, and AJ Dillon can eat in circumstances like that.
Any MVS takes for the people on waivers? Would you feel comfortable starting MVS this week if you could scoop him up?
Yeah, I mean, he's on the fringe. He's like a wide receiver 3/flex, but I think it would help if no Randall Cobb.
Yep. Rams. So easy win for the Rams over the Jaguars. They do have that big game we already talked about against the Cardinals on Monday. Looked to me like they were trying to ease in or take it easy on Odell a little bit, who was limited all week with a hip issue, only 24 routes on 41 Matthew Stafford dropback. Still, I kind of feel better about Van Jefferson than Odell at this point. Also, you saw Darrell Henderson was healthy enough to be active in an emergency situation only. I think he'll be back on Monday in his normal role, but Stoney is obviously a very good player, and you could see Stoney mix in maybe more. That's going to be a tough projection on the Henderson versus Stoney stuff. On Monday, what'd you see out of the Rams' easy win over the Jags?
Yeah, and we got that news like literally, 11 minutes before early game lock from Jay Glazer that Darrell Henderson was going to be active or quote unquote available for the game. And I think we kind of saw through it right away that he was going to be the emergency back. I think that if we had gotten that news a little bit earlier, I think people kind of picked up on that. That it just in general.
I mean, Sony was 50%
super high owned. Yeah. I think one situation to monitor is the Rams offensive line, because in this game. I think it was the first or second snap of the game. Brian Allen, their starting center, went out with an MCL and high ankle sprain. And they also lost their left guard, David Edwards, to a high ankle sprain. So a situation to monitor entering Monday Night Football against a really good Cardinals defense.
Vikings, not much to say about Alexander Madison. We've said it all. I mean, when Dalvin is out, Madison is just an absolute smash. We know this. The big story coming out of Minnesota's game was Adam Thielen going down with what looks like a high ankle sprain. I mean, he started off slow and he's been just smashing for a while now. They'll get KJ Osborne in there for every snap. KJ Osborne has earned a role from week one. Like, they have not hesitated at all to use KJ Osborne the entire year. I think he'll go in there and play almost every snap and go in there seamlessly. He won't be as big of a red zone threat as Adam Thielen was, but you could definitely pick up and start KJ Osborne right away every week, I think. Any thoughts on that? Anything else on the Vikings?
Yeah, high ankle sprain for Adam Thielen. We've talked about those ad nauseum. They're also going to be without Dalvin Cook Thursday night against the Steelers. Yeah, I'm with you. KJ Osborne, he actually played one more snap than Justin Jefferson in this past game, only ran one fewer route than Justin Jefferson. He's going to be in there. He played 95% of the snaps, 7 targets, totally with you. I think he's a strong start against Pittsburgh.
Saints, people there's so much bias against Taysom, and I don't, I get it in real life, I guess. From fantasy people, I mean, it makes no sense. Dude is just a beast in fantasy. We released a prop over 205 passing yards for Taysom, and he had 150 in the first half. I remember
that one.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
And he hurt his finger, and he still got there. He got
it on the freaking, the last second, the one in the last 2 minutes. I mean, they should have pulled him out. Why was he still in there?
I know. His finger, he could barely throw. Over. I know. He's just such a threat.
He is good in fantasy.
He rushed 11 times for 101 yards. And that's nothing new. That's just what he does. Right. He threw 4 picks. He threw 2 touchdowns. So I'd be happy to start Taysom every week going forward in fantasy. He could be a huge difference maker in best ball too, because a lot of teams probably don't have him or whatever. If he has good games in the best ball playoffs, it's going to be a smash. They do play the Jets this Sunday also, which obviously the Jets is just, oh my God, everybody smashes against the Jets. So I don't know on Kamara yet, but anything on the Saints that you want to say ahead of the Jets game?
No, and we've talked a lot about how they have been very depleted in the pass catcher and the skill position core in general. Now Deontay Harris's 3-game suspension kicks in. He got a DUI this past summer, and he's going to miss the next 3 games. He's really been their only playmaker in the passing game, especially with Alvin Kamara out recently. We'll have to see about Alvin Kamara. He must have suffered a setback at some point, because we know from Underhill, the Saints never expected him to miss this much time.
Yeah, it's been a ton of time on Alvin Kamara. Giants. One thing that Saquon could at least say was that he had this super elite role and he wasn't sharing the ball with anyone. In this game, I mean, Devontae Booker played 23 snaps and had 10 touches. Saquon 49 snaps and 17 touches. So we know Saquon's going to be inefficient. That's a stone lock. You're betting on him through his role, pass game, and big play ability that you're able to get there. It's getting thinner and thinner for Saquon to get there. And now Daniel Jones is not expected to play. Mike Glennon is not expected to play. Jake Fromm, who was a 4th stringer for the Bills a week ago or something, is going to start this game against the Chargers. Give the people a little rundown on who Jake Fromm is and anything else on the Giants.
Weak-armed pocket passer from Georgia with small hands. Solid college starter, a long-time NFL backup, probably a fringe number 2, number 3. Yeah, they signed him off the Bills practice squad, I believe, a month ago. So not just last week, but, and then he jumps into a situation where they've got a bad offensive line. Sterling Shepard can't get right. Kadarius Toney can't get right. Kenny Golladay suffered a rib injury this past week.
Golladay came back in, but it didn't look good. Yeah, it didn't look good. Yeah.
How about the gaslighting from Joe Judge telling Giants Nation that he was encouraged by the offense in their 20-9 loss to the Dolphins? How about that? And then, have you heard this thing about John Maris Carpenter on Giants Twitter? Have you seen that?
No.
Well, apparently some member of Giants Twitter is friends with John Maris Carpenter. And John Maris Carpenter told him that Daniel Jones, he's out for the year. He's not coming back. Which one shouldn't? I swear, this is real, man. This is real. You gotta. You know,
I thought you were going to say something scandalous or something. As Carpenter said, Dale Jones is out for the year.
No, that's So that's the rumor according to John Mayer's Carpenter. But we got to get that out there for the people.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, yeah, Giants are just an absolute mess. Eagles. So Gardner Minshew, we talked about this Sunday morning. I mean, Gardner Minshew can rack up fantasy points in the first half against the Jets. It was against the Jets. He had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. They didn't really need him in the second half, and he ended up with just a meh game. But still, you can see Minshew has it. The Eagles say that when Jalen Hurts is healthy, he'll be their starter. I believe them because Jalen Hurts has, I think, played pretty well this year. But you see what can happen to the offense when a pure passer gets in there. Dallas Goedert, who's had this outrageous target share and usage all year, finally goes off. Miles Sanders went off before hurting his ankle again. So now they head into the bye with maybe a quarterback controversy, maybe a Miles Sanders injury. We'll see on Jordan Howard. A lot to chew on as the Eagles go into their bye. What do you see out of them?
Yeah. It sounds like Miles Sanders' injury, he balled out, by the way, before he went down again. I mean, he's good. He's a really talented player. But yeah, it was unfortunate that he couldn't finish out. Kenny Gainwell wound up with 17 touches or something like that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Miles Sanders is going to be good to go after the bye. Jalen Hurts probably. I mean, he did practice on a limited basis each day last week. So I would think that sitting out this past week, sitting out the bye, he should be good to go when they come back.
I got to say, if anybody from the NFL is listening to this, week 14 bye, it's just too late, man. Like, people want to start their fantasy playoffs. Like, you can't have some of the best players in fantasy football on a bye in week 14. I'm just putting that out there. 49ers. I mean, Eli Mitchell, 49 snaps. Jeff Wilson, 2. JaMychal Hasty, 2. Kyle Shanahan is in stone cold love. But of course, in true Kyle Shanahan fashion, it can't be clear cut because Eli Mitchell at the very, very end of the game suffered some head injury. Apparently, he's now in the concussion protocol. We'll have our eye on that ahead of this matchup against the Bengals. Also, I mean, we talked about on Friday, if George Kittle gets volume, he smashes, period. Like that's it. So there's been a lot of games where he gets 2 targets, 1 target, 3 target. In games like this where he actually gets significant targets, he's just an absolute smash. And you saw him break the slate on Sunday. What did you see out of the 49ers loss to the Seahawks?
Yeah, George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. And it doesn't always show up in the box score. He's pretty boomer bust in fantasy. But, man, when he gets those targets, he is going to absolutely destroy. They're using him, giving him carries. He's an incredible blocker. Deebo Samuel said this past week that he was only going to miss 1 game. And then on Monday, I guess the 49ers, they said they were hopeful, but it sounds like he's going to miss probably 1 more with the groin injury. Brandon Ayuk didn't do a whole lot against Seattle, but I would expect him to have a better game against Cincinnati. It's just George Kittle was just unstoppable in this one. Yeah, and I'd be worried about Elijah Mitchell, popping up with this concussion symptoms on Monday and about his chances of getting, because that sets him back a little bit in terms of getting into the protocol.
What do you think about Jeff Wilson versus Hasty? Because if Mitchell is going to miss, that's going to be a big question for people. Do you have any read on Wilson versus Hasty?
Well, Kyle Shanahan was talking about on Monday that Jeff Wilson's knee flared up. And remember he missed a ton of time because he had a severe knee injury. So, and Trey Sermon's been dealing with the ankle.
Yeah, Trey Sermon's on IR. He's done. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then JaMychal, I mean, this is going to be something we're going to have to sift through, no question, because we're going to have to monitor the injury reports like all week probably.
Yeah. Seahawks. So they signed the Titans, who obviously have so many problems of their own. They cut Adrian Peterson. The Seahawks sign him and then start him. I mean, what a laughable situation it is. He split with Rashad Penny. Good to see Rashad Penny in there and healthy, at least. Maybe this stuff is relevant because they play the Texans this week, but I just have no faith in Seattle run game. Anyways, do you see any positive signs, though? I think there were at least some positive signs for Russ in this game as they beat the 49ers. They play at Houston this week, so they're at least interesting.
Yeah, easily the best game that he has played. Started really slow. I think it was after the first quarter, I think he was 5 of 6 for 12 yards. I mean, just brutal. But this was I thought he looked a little bit better against Washington, just a little bit better. And then I think he took another little step forward here. So, and now he's facing one of the worst defenses in the league indoors at Houston. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be talking about him.
For sure.
Gerald Everett played like the worst game that you could ever imagine. 2 lost fumbles, killer drops that turned in interceptions. I mean, he was just an absolute disaster to the extent I wonder if they might bench him. Dwayne McFarland, who did a bunch of stuff for us last year, got a full-time gig at PFF. Great for him. Very deserving. He put out an interesting poll. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. Who would you rather have the rest of the way, DK Metcalf or Elijah Moore? And the results were like over 70% Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I think it's DK Metcalf just based on quarterback play, and also Corey Davis has been out for the Jets, and when he comes back, I think that makes a little bit of a difference. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
I think Corey Davis is done for the year.
Is he? Maybe he he played on Sunday and got hurt in the game. So
yeah, no, because he needs core muscle surgery. Yeah. But that still, it doesn't move the needle enough. I'm with you. I would be on DK Metcalf. I mean, because we're seeing strides from Russ. DK Metcalf, he went 5 for 60 in this last one. He had a big time 33-yard catch. He got tackled right inside the 5.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's still DK Metcalf. He could take a slant 70 yards to the house.
Their remaining schedule is Houston, Rams, Bears, Lions. Like fantasy Super Bowl, he's playing the Lions. I mean,
yeah, I would go DK Metcalf. I would say shocked by those results. The poll results heavily favoring Elijah Moore.
Yeah, we'll get to Elijah Moore next episode. He's certainly been playing his ass off, and we'll talk about that.
Sure.
Bucks. So, I mean, they just get out there. I thought Tom Brady was going to throw 40 times in the first half. It was so insane what they did in this game. I mean, they just came out throw. Chris Godwin had like 9 or 10 catches in the first half. Tom Brady is now on pace for 5,342 yards and 48 touchdowns at age 44. I mean, just totally insane. Other thing that, we saw coming, I mean, Leonard Fournette, I mean, Gio's not even playing. And even with Ronald Jones leaving with an illness, Gio still didn't play. And so you get Lenny for literally every snap, third downs, 2-minute. I mean, Lenny's role is just absolutely ridiculous. Yep. What you see out of the Bucks.
Good for him, for a dude that, I mean, he almost fell out of the league. I mean, he almost got cut twice last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we didn't really give Lenny a hard time. We gave people that were drafting Lenny a hard time because they were making bad decisions. We were above consensus on him this year, and it's good to see him excelling. He's like in a league winner. I mean, it's gotten to that point. So George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. Who's the second best tight end in the NFL?
I guess you've submitted Travis Kelce to the age model. Is that what's happened? It's just GG for Travis Kelce. Yeah, no, I mean, Gronk is playing absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable, man.
Washington football team. Speaking of tight ends, I think Logan Thomas is going to be out for the year. I don't think that's official yet, but I think Logan Thomas will be out for the year. Ricky Seals-Jones could be back, though, so we might see RSJ and John Bates in there. I thought the story was that, Antonio Gibson did not lose much to Wendell Smallwood or Jared Patterson. And so we've seen 4 straight games now where Antonio Gibson is among the league leaders in touches every single week. Huge game against the Cowboys. I would expect him to lean on Antonio Gibson heavily. Once again, we'll see on J.D. McKissick's status, though, because I think J.D. McKissick does actually really help them in the past game. What you see out of the football team? Another impressive win.
Yeah, Logan Thomas, I guess he avoided the MCL tear that they initially feared, but it sounds like it's multi-week bone bruise or something like that. And we probably won't see him for the rest of the season. I said before incorrectly that the football team is on a 4-game win streak. That's the Dolphins. Dolphins I said that they were on a 5-game win streak. That's the Dolphins. They are on a 5-game win streak. Football team is on a 4-game win streak. During those 4 games, Antonio Gibson is averaging 27.3 touches per game. Even if JD McKissic comes back, he's going to get the ball a lot. Obviously, the passing game stuff, kind of evaporates if JD McKissic is back. But Antonio Gibson, he's a guy that you're going to be starting every single week the rest of the way for sure.
Cowboys, Eagles, Giants to finish the year for the football team. That's going to do it for this NFC team by team podcast. Appreciate you all being here. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening anywhere podcasts are found, hit the subscribe button. It is indeed free, helps us out a ton. Also, if you've not tried out ETR yet, we do have monthly and weekly options available. We'll be doing our normal content schedule all the way through the Super Bowl. For Evan, for producer Luke, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.